Hey folks, today I'm going to be doing another hotly requested topic, and that's going to be loot filters going into 1.2, specifically how they will change with the Runes of Havoc. I will try to recover some of the basics again, but the main focus of this video will be on the new stuff and how things will change. As always, if you do like this sort of thing, please consider leaving a like on the video, and let's jump into it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how do you actually import a loot filter? This is a question that I always get. If you see a paste bin or a link or something where it's talking about a loot filter and you get something like this, a big block of text, all you would do is you copy it. So Control A, Control C if you're on Windows. You would add a filter and then you click Paste Clipboard Contents. There you go. There's your filter. You name it, My Filter, and boom, there you go. There's your filter. The basics of the filter is it goes from the top down to the bottom in order of rules. You can see here I have 35 rules. When it's choosing what filters to look at or where an item falls, it'll always start at the top and work its way to the bottom. So generally at the bottom, you want a catch-all that hides everything that you're not specifically targeting. So you want high value stuff, all that needs to be at the top. Just keep that in mind. The first set of filters I want to talk about is unique items. So in the current game, it's actually a little bit tricky to filter unique items. You can't just select specific unique items, so you do need to build rules to highlight them in specific ways. So as an example, if you have something like Ravenous Void that has a base type that only this item has, all you have to do is select the subtype, and then there you go. Boom, you've now filtered for it. If you have something like Red Ring, for example, where there are a bunch of unique silver rings, you need to give it something a little bit more specific, like a level requirement. So silver ring unique above level 75. This will always be red ring. For some uniques, you just can't do that. So an example here would be Orion's Eye. The level requirement and the base type is shared with Confluence of Fate, so there really isn't much you can do about that. It's just going to show both. In general, I think it's a lot easier to just highlight the really high value uniques rather than trying to completely hide uniques that you don't care about, because it's very, very easy with unique filters to miss something important and then you just end up not seeing it. So I have a filter here for Bastion of Honor. You can see it's showing up, it's highlighted. If I drop a different shield that's not highlighted, it has the normal unique text. So this just makes it a lot easier for you to quickly see the important stuff that you care about in your filter. I also have another filter here for LP, so I want to just generically show all the 2 LP plus items. They drop rarely enough that it is worth showing, and you can just quickly mouse over. I'm also showing unique idols because there's just not that many of them. I don't think this is really a big deal. And then there's a few set items that I care about. So Phalatrias, you can see these are highlighted. If I don't have a filter for them, they would just go through and have the normal coloring. So next, I want to move on to the EXALT. With the Rune of Havoc, you want a pretty big stockpile of exalted items that don't necessarily have all the affixes that you want, but they have a lot of tiers that can be swapped around to make good items using the Rune of Havoc. So just an example, if I have this catalyst here, one thing I could do is I could craft on, say, crit multi as a T1, slam this with a Rune of Havoc, and then there's a chance that this T7 lightning damage would swap places with the T7 crit multi, and then boom, now I have a crit multi T7. So you can see the first thing I have here is these are extremely high priority affixes that you can just straight up use. This will be very specific to your build. Everybody's going to have different ones in here, but take these rules, edit them, pick your top priority affixes and highlight them. The first Rune of Havoc rule that I have here is any 13 plus exalted tiers. So that would be like a T7 with a T6, triple T6, multiple T7s, and so on. They would all fall under this rule. So an item like that would be this, where you have a T6, T7. That would fall under this rule. Another example would be like here, you have a triple T6. It falls under the rule. The way this filter works is I am selecting all affixes. I want at least 2 from this list. They need to be at least T6, so that's just filtering for Exalt. And then I want the total affix tiers to be more or equal to 13. So if you have, for example, a double T6, double T5, this would not catch it. So if we have, hopefully I have an example here. There's a double T6. You can see it's not caught by this. It goes down into the double any T6. So yeah, I think rules like this are going to be extremely useful in 1.2. Just make sure you keep this in mind. Make your own filter with this or copy this one. This you will definitely want. After that, I have a double any T7. So this is something that you'll probably want early on. You should show any of the T7s. They're rare enough early in your progression that it is worth showing. Later on, you can remove it. Same with double T6. If you don't care, you can remove it. Useful T6, same story. So one thing that I think might be useful is you can actually set the character level dependencies here. So just as an example, for any T6, this is probably okay to have as soon as you enter monoliths because they're rare enough that you're not constantly dropping them. It's okay to look at them, mouse over them, it's not a big deal. But the further you go, the more and more exalted items you're going to drop, so eventually you probably don't want them. One thing that you can do if you want to automate this is you can set character level dependency. So from level 50 to level 70, you can show all T6s, and then after 70, this rule would be disabled. Finally, we have idols. This is going to be a bit of a mix-up in Season 2 as well. There's a lot of new affixes. There's the new idol types. You'll want to adjust these filters accordingly. But for now, what you can do is you can select multiple of affixes that you care about. So, for example, I can say I want word per second, spell lightning, whatever, all of these. I want at least 2. Here's your filter. And then you can do the same for 1. Eventually, once you don't care, you can remove that rule and move on. Same with generic. So the affixes here. You'll want to do the same for the new woven idle affixes. Find the ones that you care about, put them in the filter, and this will be very useful for you. Next, we have the shatter rule. So this is going to be also useful with the Rune of Havoc. You will want affix shards to craft onto the items so that you can havoc them. Everything that you are looking for, you want to put into this filter, so you can use Rune of Removal or use Rune of Shattering. You can see which shards that you have under the crafting materials. You can search here. It'll tell you how many. If you're low on something that you want, just add it to this shatter rule and it'll show up. And then finally at the bottom, we have hide everything else. So this, as I said before, it goes top to bottom. So this is the catch-all. Everything you're not filtering is hidden. The next thing that I want to touch on really quick is if you want, you can also use online filter editors. So if I take this filter, I do export, copy to clipboard, and I go in here. So this is the last Epoch Tools loop filters. So if you go through here, you could do import from clipboard, and then boom, there you go. This is your in-game filter now in Last Epoch Tools, and you can edit it through here if you want. You can also edit these with Notepad if you're comfortable doing that. It could be quicker. There's also some other online editors you might prefer, but this one is not bad. You can go in here, edit the rules. There's some warnings, but this is fine. It works. And then you can do some simulations to see what it would look like with different items. Another thing that you can also do is if, for example, you want to copy my red ring rule, you can copy this rule. Maybe you want your own filter. So we'll create a new filter. And then you can paste a rule in from another filter into your own. So there you go. You now have a red ring rule on your own filter while you're building it. You'll also notice that this filter is already 1.2, even though the previous one was 1.1.7. So you can already start working on your 1.2 filter before the season even launches. That's probably what I will be doing over the next day or so. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.